Hey there, welcome back to Remnant 2. We're going to be playing a Tempest Warrior today, which is another cheesy name, but man, it pretty much encapsulates what we're doing here, which is a kind of like melee build that's doing a lot of lightning damage. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty satisfying to use. The main pieces are from the DLC, so if you don't have like the DLC or haven't like completed it, you may not be able to do like the exact thing that we're doing here. You can try and emulate it. It's just not quite going to pop off the same way. This is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And we're playing on Apocalypse, so you get to see how it's doing there. And, like always, my builds aren't always, like, super optimized, meta-made. Like, they're mostly to have, like, some kind of idea going on that's generally pretty fun to do. Yeah, like I said, this one's fun. What is the main piece, though? The star of the show, I guess you could say. It is the Crystal Staff. The Crystal Staff and the Shocker Mutator. That combo together is what we're looking at. Now, it's a staff, so it has a staff moveset. Its unique thing is like when you use its charged attack, it's going to charge the staff. And then each of your melee attacks are going to shoot lightning projectiles. Now, these projectiles are going to deal damage. They also count for melee attacks, much like how the spear, like the Huntress's spear and the Krell axe are still technically melee attacks when you throw the projectile. Same thing here. But each time you land these lightning projectiles, it's going to continue to charge the staff up. And it can get 10 stacks. Now, if you have those stacks active, because they only last for 10 seconds, if you do another charged attack, you're going to have an explosion around you, and it's going to send off a bunch of projectiles equal to the number of stacks you have that deal damage and apply overload on the enemy. Now, the combo deals with the Shocker. The Shocker Mutator, after you're hitting an enemy 3 times, it charges up your weapon or primes it, and then when you do a charged melee attack, it strikes all nearby enemies for a bunch of lightning damage. And then, if you have it to level 10, it applies overloaded as well. So what's going to end up happening is we go into a fight, charge our staff right away, send off like a 1, 2, 3 projectiles, which will charge Shocker right away, and then we power attack again, which will unleash the charges in the staff as well as a Shocker for a whole bunch of lightning. Now, if you, depending on the fight and if it's really prolonged or whatever, you can build it up to like 10 stacks, like at max, and it is so much lightning. It's so fun, very satisfying. And because this is so much of this is built around that lightning damage, that's really the damage type that we're enhancing. Like, you could lean into like melee damage increase as well, but I went more towards a lightning damage increase because that will also increase the overloaded amount as well. Now we have some different effects in helping out with our melee stuff as well. Now, starting kind of like at the top with the archetypes, my primary archetype is the Invoker. It's a new one that came with the DLC. It's very strong. Like, in a way, I could just run around and use a skill on this, and that could just, like, do most of the work for me. Yeah, feels very strong. The main thing getting it here, it's not, like, super make or break for the build, but it gives us double skill charges, which is really nice, especially with our Challenger as a secondary archetype, and we use a Juggernaut skill, which will increase our melee damage, as well as, like, help with our stamina costs and give us a lot of survivability. We get double charges of that. It also has the Gifted trait, so it makes our skills last longer by 30%. So now our Juggernaut is lasting for 32 seconds, which is quite a while. So we're going to get that bonus. Plus, this thing increases our elemental damage by 15% and then elemental critical chance by 5% as well. It increases skill damage too, but we don't really... I mean, we have a skill that's doing damage, but that's not like our focus, right? That elemental damage is where it's at with this staff. After that, it's got a lot of different bonuses that happen as long as the Invoker skill is active, giving us movement speed, damage reduction, healing, making our relic activate faster, etc., etc. Overall, very solid. The skill we're going to primarily be using is Way of Keula. This is like their damage skill. This thing's sending out a tidal wave, then it has an area where we get haste, and then it's going to drench the enemies, which will then do a bunch of lightning strikes on them. It can do a lot of damage. Now, the more enemies there are, the less damage the shock is, because it splits it. But if you got like a single target dude, it's going to be doing a lot of damage at once to that target. Very strong. It's also affected by amplitude, which we have maxed out for the Way of Keula, or skills in general, right? All skills from the Invoker, as well as the Power Stone thing and Shocker effects. Like, those are getting bonuses as well. So amplitude is very nice here. Now, if you don't want to use that one for damage, Way of Madra is a big healing one. There, it does a bunch of healing over time, and it can heal your allies and stuff as well, and it gives you more lifesteal. It also applies Gloom to enemies, which increases their elemental damage they take. So we're doing a lot of elemental damage, so this is a great choice as well. The Way of Lydusa is okay. It's kind of the least out of the 3, but you can stack it up pretty quickly and then send out big sand wave blast, which is pretty nice. Now for our amulet and rings, because we're doing so much lightning damage, we're taking the shock device. This is going to increase that shock damage by 20% and overloaded damage by 50%. So it's like all our damage is just getting a huge buff from this. It's fantastic. It's the way to go. And then we've got the Berserker's Crest. The reason we're taking this is because to really activate our staff's abilities, we have to do charged melee attacks. So we want this to make it faster and more stamina efficient, because if we don't have enough stamina, we're not going to dodge, we're not going to be able to use the weapon skill, etc. It's really good for what we're doing here. Now, in that same vein, same line of thought, we've got the Brawler's Pride, which increases our melee attack speed by 15%. This is going to let us get those attacks out faster, charging up our Shocker faster, charging up the Power Stone faster, and then unleashing it all just a bit faster so that we can get rid of the enemies, and we can just not be locked in place, trying to get things set up in time. On the whole, I've enjoyed using it. It's probably not make or break, right? Burden of the Destroyer, it's flat damage, right? It's just a solid ring there. We're not using our guns at all. I'm going to use them occasionally, but because we're really only using our skill and melee weapon, that reduced range on our firearms doesn't even matter. So I also think that lightning is just a destructive force, right? So Burden of the Destroyer just felt like a natural fit. And then this last ring is something I've been swapping around a lot, and I haven't fully settled on what I think is best. It's kind of just whatever my mood is, right? Right now we have on the wood ring, which is increasing stagger damage. I'm liking this because with all these projectiles and things we're doing, we're able to stagger guys quite a bit. It's nice because when they're staggered, we're not getting hit, so it's kind of a safety net for us too. So I've just kind of liked it, and I like the idea of the wood going with a natural idea of Yesha and stuff. So it in my head, it kind of fits. Amber Moonstone is a defensive choice. When you get low, get some reduced damage reduction, as well as immunity to temporary status effects. The Grounding Stone, pretty self-explanatory, increases shock damage. We're doing a lot of that. Or the Hardened Coil is another defensive choice, so that as we start getting low, we get some more damage reduction, but I don't know how much it was truly adding at the end of the day. With all our effects and stuff got going on, right now we're at 47% damage reduction. We're going to spike it up pretty high with our Relic and the Bulwarks from the Challenger, so we'll kind of touch on that here. Our Relic choice is Crystal Heart, because we've got a lot of crystal stuff going on, and this is going to make us super tanky, because our build here can do a lot of damage, and we can be very durable with all our stuff cooking. So it's going to recover a bunch of our health, 100% over 10 seconds, reduce our movement speed, but give us another 25% damage reduction. So we're at 47 right now. If we use this now, that puts us at 60% damage reduction. Now, if we go ahead and we use our Juggernaut for another 3 stacks of Bulwark, that's going to put us at 69% damage reduction. If we have used the Relic with enemies nearby, that's also going to give us another 2 stacks of Bulwark, maxing us at 5. So we're going to be, over that 70% damage reduction. So a lot of damage reduction, right? Now, as for the effects that I've got going in there, increased health, because health is just really nice in Apocalypse. Increased melee attack speed, because the Brawler's Pride is, just getting those attacks out faster to activate our staff faster. And then increased elemental damage, because that's where the bulk of our damage is actually coming from, elemental damage. The guns I actually have on, Bulldog, not important. Voltaic or Endure, though, because it is a lightning mod. It's got feedback to feedback some of the mod power if I decide to use it. And then Enigma, because it is a lightning handgun, so of course it's a natural pick. It's got Spellweaver in there too, which honestly is not, I don't think is really doing a lot for me, but it can kind of help with some of our skill cooldowns if I use it a bit. As for traits, a lot of it is just simply what I'm doing for Apocalypse, right? Triage is maxed out for healing, Regrow is maxed out for regeneration, Fortify maxed out to help us out with damage reduction, Vigor for that maximum HP. We maxed out Expertise because Juggernaut and the Way of Kaula are doing a lot of work for us. Arcane Strikes I maxed out because I am doing a lot of melee attacks. Is it better than taking Spirit? Maybe not. I don't know. Haven't bothered to do the math. Amplitude, because that makes the radius for some of our melee weapon stuff and the Way of Kaula and whatnot huge. So Amplitude is, I would say, a must here, or a really strong pick, and especially since we don't need to worry about hitting our allies, so we don't have to worry about kinship. Siphoner, because we're just hitting things a lot, get some lifesteal. And then 5 points in endurance and recovery, because that is my choice for, like, stamina, quality of life, right? We're in the Shattered Gallery, so we're going to run through that, clear it up, and then take on Magister Dullain, and just show you how it works, man. Now, for most small fights, the way this will go, there's an enemy. We charge it right away like that. 1, 2, 3, charge attack here. Boom. And there they go. And if there's more enemies, it's going to wipe them out as well. That's the basic combo going into most, like, basic enemies. 1, 2, and that wood ring, see how it's doing all that stagger for us? Like, he might have been staggered anyways, but you know he's getting staggered because of the wood ring. Now let's show you the Way of Keula. I didn't actually explain. I kind of did, right? It also gives us a haste and stuff. Watch how big this radius is. It sends out a tidal wave. That does deal damage. Now, the radius, see how it's way back there. Look at that radius. Way back there. And way up here somewhere. And we weren't looking, but that dude is gone. Yeah, it starts from here all the way over there. It's a super cool effect. It's got a cool, like, rain deal going on. It's a lot of fun. Let's send out a Voltaic Rondor. Now, in a fight like this, the way where we're fighting like an elite, we're going to go Juggernaut into Way of Keula. That's going to make our relic go up faster. So now we've got a bunch of stuff. We're going to 1, 2, and just start going ham like that. Yeah. Overkill for that fight because there was just those 2 guys. But with that setup, like I just did, we activate Juggernaut. Gives us that 3 stacks of bulk. So we're immediately a lot more durable. And we have the stagger resistance. That's going to allow us to keep using the rest of our abilities without getting interrupted. So then we spit out the Way of Keula, which is going to do the lightning damage, but more importantly, make our relic activate faster. So we get even more damage reduction, and we're regenerating health. And so from there, with like the Executioner guy, we can sit there and trade with him, because we have a ton of damage reduction, ton of healing, and we're not getting staggered. So we can just build up stacks on our staff, and then unleash it for huge amounts of lightning. The build is just, it's super fun. Now, there are some downsides to it. Like right there, where did all my lightning projectiles go? Who knows? They hit something. That's one of the problems. In some of the like dungeons I've done, where the like ceilings are really low and everything's kind of tight, it can really like just hit the top and then eat all the projectiles, so I'm not getting the full effect of it. But then there's sometimes the projectiles just like clip and go through the walls and ceiling, so it's like not actually an issue. And it just, there is no, like, consistency on it, necessarily, which is a little frustrating. Yeah. Oh, I need to get that going. Here we go. Charged up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. And then we explode. Yeah, down it goes. And then that's our Way of Keula, just clearing up guys. Who knows where they are. Yeah. Solid build. Very enjoyable. It's lightning. Lightning is very fun too. And the Voltaic Rondor, even though we don't have a lot of mod stuff going on, because we have so much lightning stuff going on, it's way gonna clear enemies too. And because we have feedback on there, it's going to really kind of allow it to charge up, I'd say really fast. It's gonna help it charge up a little bit, right? And then if we're ever like in need where we really have to get guys from a range, you know, this isn't gonna hit them from far away, but the mod ability with a stake on this thing, you can go and you can lob it from far away, and that can hit guys from far away if you need to actually have some like range going on. Sort of another downside with the crystal staff, and this isn't like a real problem with it, it was more of a mental thing for me, because I had a lot of trouble getting used to it at first, but I was getting kind of caught in this trap where I thought in order to actually use the staff, I was like, man, I have to make sure I have the lightning buff on there. And so there would be times I'm really trying to make that work when it's just not the time to do it. It's not optimal. I needed to just swing the staff. Like, as long as I'm just like hitting dudes with it, then I'm not going to have any issues. But instead, I get really worked up and bent around the axle about making sure I'm actually like doing the full combo, when at times you just need to let go and you need to just hit a dude in the freaking face with a stick, right? So you got to be a little mindful of that, a little cognizant, and, you know, be ready to just embrace the, like, just swing the weapon, right? Now, boss-wise, I fought a couple bosses with this so far. I fought the Sunken Witch. I fought the Huntress. This setup was I was still in its, like, prototype form. I fought the Coliseum dude in the DLC. So I fought a few with it and had some pretty good success, I would say. So I feel like this one should be a pretty good fight. The bad thing is, like, right, depending on the effects of the enemy, things cannot be very smooth. Like, I fought the Sunken Witch, and she had thick skin and elemental resistance. It took me so long to beat her. Like, 8 to 10 minutes of straight fighting her. It was not fun. So depending on what this thing's got going on, could suck. And we should be able to do a bit of trading with it. You know, like, we should be able to just, like, sit on top of the boss and do a lot of damage. But there's elemental. Are you serious? Oh. Okay, here we go. But we should be able to just kind of sit on top of it, and then, oh, that still staggered us. Should be able to be on top of it and do a lot of damage. I'm going to try and get full stack of 10 on this thing. Ooh, that was a lot of damage, though. Activate another relic. And then we get a roll. 1, 2, 3, get a full charge. I mean, for thick skin and elemental resistance, we are doing a pretty solid amount of damage, right? We need to make sure we get another one of these out, because these bodies, I don't actually care to see if I can tank them, because they do stupid damage, like unreasonable amounts of damage. Let's see. Now we're just gonna play it safe. We can switch the Enigma here. That'll kind of help us out here, and then we can just hit that thing with the shock effect. We go Juggernaut, activate another one of these, roll, get our Crystal Heart on, charge up the staff, and then we start going ham again. Now this AoE should make this pretty good to get rid of all the extra adds as well. Charge it up. Ooh, boom. Roll away from all that. Here's the body. Okay, let's hit a lightning orb. We gotta play safe here again because of the bodies. Whoop. Trying to listen. Whoop. No, thank you. We're just gonna hit her with a bunch of these. I hear it. Juggernaut. Followed by Wave Kula. Ooh, that was a little scary. Use our relic now. Charge this up. Dodge backwards. And Lightning Staff. That was a pretty clean fight. That went way better than my Sunken Witch one. Oh god, frame rates. That's the build. There it is. Now, the cool thing is with it, too, the range attacks do have a pretty good distance, and they home. Sometimes a homing is a little jank, but they home. And they can hit from a solid distance, which means, even though this is a melee build, we're hitting guys from a solid ways away. So, yeah, that part is kind of nice. I miss it. I guess I could try and take on the Nightweaver. I mean, I'm already there. Alright, yeah, we'll try the Nightweaver too. We'll see how that goes. We did eat through 5 relics too. That's one thing to kind of consider. To make us, like, super durable, we're eating relics, like, constantly. But we are doing a lot of damage constantly too, so, like, maybe it's worth it? I just want to show you something real quick. We're in this house, right? There's 3 levels to it. And, I'm going to spit out the Keula, Way of Keula here. And then watch it just, like, wipe everything out. Like, see how it's only doing 289 damage there? But that's because that damage is split. So now it's doing 316. And as it, like, gets rid of enemies, it's just going to be doing more damage. And it's clearing guys at the bottom level. It's clearing guys up there. It's, yeah, it's kind of stupid how much that thing can do when you have maxed out amplitude. I actually forgot to mention my armor earlier. I feel a little bad about that, even though it's, like, not super important. I've got most of the Disciple armor set on with the Lodestone Crown. The Disciple armor just looks cool. Man, it's super cool. It makes me think of, like, a Barbarian armor set. And then because, you know, I mean, like, look at that. I know we're all warbly, but yeah. And then the Lodestone Crown, because, like, we are using, you know, a crystal weapon and stuff. So that just seemed fitting to me. Depending on how you want to do it, since we have Challenger on, we've got all those points in a strong back, which means you could put on like Leto Mark II or something if you really want super high damage reduction. But honestly, I think the medium roll is like super helpful for this, especially like when you get into those like invulnerability frames and recovery for neutral dodges. It can make you able to like actually like play around chain attacks from enemies. Here we go. You into you, and then relic. All right, here we go. Staff. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Dodge backwards. Charge attack. Oh my god. Look at that damage, dude. Hi. Charge it up. Maybe we'll get some of them. Charge attack. Boom. It's so much damage, dude. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh. I think we lost all of our defenses there, right? Well, I knew Juggernaut was getting low, so we were losing our stacks of Bulwark, and obviously Crystal Heart wasn't active anymore. Yeah, if you don't maintain those stacks of like defense, yeah, you can't tank things from there. So, got to be a little cognizant of that. Just hit it now. Roll! Oh, that was so close. How many stacks do we got? 10, and here we go. Look at all that damage, dude. Uh-oh. Stay away from me. Use another relic. 2, 3. 1, 2. Roll away. Oh, I lost the charges. That's a bummer. Here come the spiders. We need our stamina to kind of come back. Okay, go away, please. Ah, damn it. Alright. I need to be better. I'm being really aggressive. We're doing a ton of damage, which is making me aggressive, but it's making me stupid too. So we gotta be smart. Do a Rondor to get rid of the spiders. That way I don't have to worry about them actually getting to me. So that was sort of a problem I had earlier. Need to utilize all the tools that I have. Use another Crystal Heart now, just to make sure I avoid any big damage that she's going to deal to me. There we go. I've got a few seconds left on my Juggernaut. Get ready for the Voltaic Rondor again. Yep, see, she was getting ready to do it. I did it a little early, so like there was that potential we were gonna miss, but now she's finished. There we go. Much better that time. Now we go to phase 2, which should be all right. Now look at the skills on the bottom right. The effects of the Invoker, having 2 stacks and then the skill cooldowns and stuff are just really letting us use them back to back, which is huge for our survivability. It's huge for our damage. Yeah, and then we're gonna have to dodge around there. Like, I knew she was gonna do that attack, which is why I didn't immediately use my relic. This hitter was one of these. Yeah. Charge it up. Boom. It's so much. I love it, man. It's so nice. Oh, but the frame rate drops here and there. Something got changed around here. We're gonna use another one of these, because I don't know where she's at. But with the huge radius that's going on here, it means that we can just lob it out there and it's going to go hit her. She tried to grab us. Charge up the staff now. 1, 2, 1, 2. Where's it at? Oh, okay. Ooh. Man, we got real lucky there. If she would have grabbed us, healed up, and that would have been really annoying. I need to do now. We'll drop out a ball right there. And we'll hit her with one of these. There you go. Aside from the 2 or 3 losses that I had there. Pretty clean. That felt pretty good. Good build. Good setup. I like it a lot. It's super satisfying. It's so fun to just shoot out tons of lightning. to be really durable. The durability takes a bit of some, like, I would call it micromanagement, because I don't really like to have to juggle like buffs and stuff. Like I don't enjoy that. I like clean, simple durability, but it's there. It exists. You can do it. And this is on Apocalypse, so if you're playing on a lower one, it's nowhere near as bad. And I didn't even go full durability, because what did I have on? The wood ring. I could have been running anything else to maybe do more durability. Thoughts I've had about trying out. I thought about doing the Red Ring of Death to do like even more stacks of Overloaded, because this is increasing it by 50%. So just having a whole other stack of it, even though it's reduced by 10%, would probably be pretty big. I thought about the Ring of the Fanatic could maybe be kind of interesting, or Band of the Fanatic. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think there's some nice little fun switcheroos you could kind of do in this to make it pretty enjoyable. And you could also just like lean more into some of the like raw melee damage increase things. I was doing things with the Fey Bruiser ring, because we're constantly hitting enemies with melee attacks, so it's constantly giving us those 2 stacks of bulwark, so we're just consistently having more damage reduction. So that is a solid choice as well, depending on like what flavor you want. What are you trying to do? How do you feel? What do you have? What do you like? Yada yada yada. But thanks for checking out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. You should give it a go. If you haven't tried the Crystal Staff yet, haven't tried it with Shocker. Shocker is just a blast anyways. The change from 5 required hits to 3 to trigger it is actually a great change. I really like that a lot. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So until the next one, take care.